Hello friends, this is Holmes, a first-time farmer over 50. Welcome to the homestead. So we are going to take a look at the east side of the 6-acre project so you can see what was accomplished in 2025. And we're just going to walk on through and focus basically from the ridge line, which is straight ahead of me here, over to the left, down the hill to the wash. And this is everything that we accomplished this year in 2025. So all of this area here was a lot of sapling, seedling trees. There were some larger trees that were cut down, some cedar and things. And you can see down there in the wash, trees that were cut down, and they're either in the wash or laying across onto the side, on the other side of the wash. And that was not part of the 6-acre project, so if it went on the other side, I just left it. And you can see through here these piles of logs and the trees that were cut down. Cut down a lot of maple trees. Not necessarily that I wanted to, but there are just so many small maple trees in the area. And the maple trees, they would form an understory. So you can see that's a hickory right there. And they form an understory. And while they have enough sunlight to grow, they allow pretty much nothing to get through to the ground, which does not allow grass to grow. So that's the reason they all came out. You can see stuff down in there. There's a big white oak right there that had a fork about 3 feet off the ground, and I cut the northernmost, or in this picture, the section to the left, and it's down there in the wash. It was dead, so I cut it off and just left it lie because it landed right in the wash. It was a perfect shot, so I'm just going to let it stay where it is. You can see how wide open this is. Now I encourage you to go back and take a look at last year's video. It was taken on December the 28th. So that was 2024, 12/28, the tour of the 6-acre project, part 4. And we're going to kind of, I veered off from the top of the ridge, the crest of the ridge last year when I was taking this video, because it was so thick up there. And now you can see there's nothing up there. I'm going to follow down based upon where the last year's video went, so you can see, get a perspective that aligns better with the previous video. In this area here it's relatively smooth. It's not flat, it tapers down to the wash, but and it's kind of its own base of the hillside right here. And you can see all the stuff that ended up in the wash. So lots of firewood, lots of stuff in the wash to slow the water down and help prevent erosion. All right, now we're going to work our way up the hill. We also took some videos from here back in end of August, September, and October, and you can really see how thick all of this was through here. You can barely get through it. And then look it around. That's That's looking north up there. And this is west. And toward the south. And then this is looking east and down into the wash. And you see there's a lot of tree material down there in that wash. The way I built these, or the way I put the logs in there, the branches in there to help prevent erosion, is that I would put in a layer of branches, smaller branches, and then on top of those I would throw large limbs or portions of the trunk on top, which would kind of mash everything down, so to make it more compact, and then more branches, and then more logs. And I just continued that process. And again, the idea is that all that material compressed against the bottom of the wash, as water comes through there, it's going to hit those branches, hit those leaves that were on the trees at the time when they were cut down, leaves that have fallen this fall, and all of that's just going to help slow things down. When the water slows down, the sediment in the water has time to drop out and build things back up. And you can see right there, looks like there's kind of like two piles, or two sections of wood, or I should say wood piles there and there. In between there, the area it's relatively flat. I refer to that as a pass-through, because other areas are incised and they might be 18 inches or more deep, and depending upon where you are, but that's easy to cross over right through there. So I put logs at the top and logs at the bottom, so that again, slows the water down and will allow that area to continue to build up. More piles of logs, more branches in the wash. And you can see in all the other areas that we worked, all these piles of branches. Mostly, as I mentioned earlier, I cut down maple trees because they just grow like crazy down through here. They are by far the most numerous tree that we have. And I did cut down some oaks, some hickories, but the majority of the trees cut were maple, just because we have too many of them. Now this is a big maple right here. It's marked with yellow and orange ribbon because it's potential to be tapped. That is a sugar maple right there. So that's the kind of maple you want if you're going to trying to make syrup. So, and then there's a big oak tree there that fell in April the 1st of 2023. We had a very windy day. If you want to see video on that right after it fell, it was 2023 0401. I was there when it fell, so you can check that out. That was a very, very blustery day. And then we have a small hickory tree that I've allowed to stay. It's kind of in an open area, and it's a nice straight young hickory, so we're going to let that one go. And then that maple right there, even though that is a sugar maple, that one's going to come out eventually. And we are almost to the back end of the property. We're about 35-40 feet from the back end. You can see that T-post there pretty much in the center of the screen, just to the left of those trees. See all the stuff that was thrown down in there into the wash. And then we were right here at the property line. That big tree is just inside the property line. There's a T-post marking the property line. And then if you look straight up that hill over there, that's the area that I cleared out 2 years ago. Almost 2.5 years ago now. Yeah, very close to 2.5 years ago. And that's just a 20-foot swath that I made around the entire perimeter, so that when I put in my perimeter fence, it is nice and clear and ready to go. So this is what we are looking at having accomplished in the year 2025. So we appreciate you watching. Please hit like and subscribe and ring that bell. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. But if not, we will see you in the pasture.